Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability.
Welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability, SVTAGS. Today we have another great guest with us, and I've been wanting you guys to be on the show for a while too, so I'm super excited that you're here. And it's the WildLife Center of Silicon Valley. Did I say that right?
That's correct. Yes.
And it's Ashley Kinney?
Ashley Kinney, yes.
Did I get it right? Okay. So first time we've met, actually, your executive director was going to come on and something happened and we've got you, and I'm super excited because you've been there 16 years.
Yeah, but it's going to be roughly about 18 in April, yeah, so
wow.
Long time.
So you've been doing, tell me about you too, what you do when you're not there and how you tell us about you.
Well, I started working with animals when I was really young, and
You're really young now still.
Thanks. When I was 11 years old, I actually started working up at Allen Rock Park, the Youth Science Institute. And from there, I just knew instantly I wanted to continue.
That was like 10 years ago?
Yeah, long time ago, actually. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And when I was younger, I always thought, oh, maybe I want to fall into the domestic field and work with dogs and cats. But having the variety of wildlife just always interested me. And so when I was 16, I found the WildLife Center and I started volunteering, and the rest is history. They haven't been able to get rid of me yet.
Yeah, so it's interesting because you take all kinds of animals. So everything from coyotes to possums, even baby mice. There's a story behind that we'll get to in a minute. Yeah. But baby raccoons, like just everything. So tell us about your mission, what you guys do.
Yeah, so we provide medical care and rehabilitation to over 170 different species in the Bay Area. We range generally from Santa Clara County, but also expand sometimes all the way down to Hollister.
Wait, say that again. 170?
72 different species.
Wow.
And we see over about around 7,000, a little over 7,000 animals a year.
A year.
Yes, and our geographic range is pretty widespread, which is why we get so many patients. But our doors are open for any wild animal that needs help.
So does it go past Santa Clara County then?
We do sometimes go past Santa Clara, especially if other facilities need assistance. If they can't handle certain patients coming in, we're there to help them as well.
So, and you said almost 18 years. So you've probably seen people come and go, and the animals, and I mean, again, tell us how this started. So was it started by an individual? Was it started by a group of people? It was started by a group of people. We used to be part of the Humane Society, and they determined, okay, we can't have wildlife around domestics, and it's time to kind of branch out. So it was 30 years ago, they branched out to the Center Road location. And in 1993, we moved to the location on Penitencia Creek Road. And so we continue to stay there, and our mission has stayed the same the entire time, and we definitely enjoy what we're doing, and I couldn't picture anything else. Yeah, I mean, because you wouldn't want domestic animals with the wild animals, right?
No, definitely not.
Vice versa. That's interesting. One of my uncles, by marriage, my mom's older sister's first husband, in the late 40s, early 50s, was one of the first veterinarian. Well, he was the first veterinarian in Saratoga and Campbell, and then he helped found the Humane Society locally.
Wow.
And so we always had three-legged dogs and one-eyed cats, and then people would, honestly too, they would bring the animals in and sometimes just abandon them, so they wouldn't pay the bill or whatever, even in Saratoga and Campbell. So we always had a zoo at our house. We had tortoises and you name it. And one of my uncle's neighbors had monkeys. And he would treat the lady's monkeys, and then when she passed, he ended up taking the monkeys because no one else could. So, and that's wild animal, not from here, which is illegal now in California, right? So, yeah, tell us a little bit more. I mean, I have some stories, but I want to hear more about what you guys do, and how many people work with you. And
yeah, so we have a dedicated group of staff members of around 9, and during the busy season, which is generally April through September, we have a couple extra seasonal wildlife technicians. So you can tell by our staff numbers versus our patient load, it's not a lot. So we rely heavily on volunteers and interns, especially during those busy months.
And what months are those again?
April through September.
Okay.
And that's when we can see an influx of about 90% of incoming animals. Some days, on our busiest days, we can see up to 50 intakes in an 8-hour period. So that's why we definitely rely on volunteers and interns. And yeah, so our staff members, you know, we've had some people there for a long time, like me, and it's just really neat to see us grow and evolve every single year.
So you said something like 7,000 animals. So what is that at? So your busy season's the spring. What is that average then usually per month?
Per month, we can see up to 500 animals.
Wow.
And at one point in time, I know in 2022, I believe it was August, we had 563 animals on site alone.
Was that, let's see, was that 2020, 2021 was the fire? So did you get a bigger...
Oh,
probably.
You know, we did get, fortunately in our location, we were not impacted like we thought we were going to be with those fires. The only thing that we had to do personally was we had some fire scares ourselves, and we had to evacuate our property and the animals when we were at the height of the busy season.
Because you're at the foothills, East Foothills.
And then unfortunately right across the street from us, there was an open fire in a field with lots of dry grass and everything. So everybody, it was just, you know, in the nick of time.
That was craziness probably.
Yes, yeah. And we had to evacuate 200 animals in about 20 minutes. And fortunately, the fire department, you know, came through. Local animal control was there for us if we needed to fully remove animals off property. But we were able to do it with our volunteers, and we always have, you know, evacuation plans and everything in place. But we were able to get every patient out of there in the nick of time, and fortunately we were able to move them back in an hour after the fire was put out.
So let's pull up the first couple slides, and this is a couple of the, so are these baby coyotes?
Those are juveniles, yep.
And what's the story? They just, someone found them? Or?
Yeah, our facility specializes in the care and treatment of vector species and larger predatory mammals such as coyotes. And so we receive orphan pups every single year. We have, these two were found orphaned. They were about 1.5 miles away from one another in, I believe it was Hayward.
Oh, so they weren't from the same pack. We can pull that down. They weren't from the same pack, but they were okay.
And since they were within a certain mileage from one another, the state allowed us to raise them together, and they were eventually released, but they were found pretty emaciated, heavily filled with like internal parasites. They also had some possible mange going on, so they were really critical for the first week. We were providing fluids and lots of supportive care, and about 6.5 to 7 months later we were able to set them free.
Let's go to the next one, which I love. It's your mascot too.
Oh, Western screech owls, yes.
Well, I don't know if this is exactly the one in your logo, but it's a Western screech. And are they like barn owls, or where do they find?
So these guys are actually fairly low. They're pretty much everywhere. They love oak areas or areas with a lot of oak trees.
Which there's a lot of in California.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of people confuse barn owls and screech owls because you think screech owl, it's you know, a loud animal, but barn owls are the very loud, screechy ones.
Interesting.
These guys have more of a mild tone to them, but yeah, they're found. We get about 50 of them a year.
Let's pull up the next one, which I think is, let's see, squirrels.
Oh, squirrels, yes.
So do you get a lot of these then?
We do. We receive a lot of tree squirrels every single year, and this is actually the season where they're going to start coming in. They started nesting in January, and we receive roughly 700 tree squirrels a year.
Wow.
Yes.
And babies and all different.
Between babies and adults, yes.
So we were at I want to say it was like the Brew Festival in Saratoga, and there was a squirrel that we don't know if it fell out, but it was there and it wasn't moving. It was a black squirrel, and we called you guys and you came out and you got it. Oh. So we didn't try to trap it. But that was interesting. And so all the way over in Saratoga, the other side of the valley. So, you know, Hollister's not Santa Clara County, but Morgan Hill. So you go all over then again.
We do, yeah.
reptiles. Do you take reptiles too?
We do. We take native reptiles and amphibians.
So what are native? Like salamanders? Or?
Yeah, we have a lot of different species of salamander. We have newts, we have tree frogs, we have toads, we also have snakes.
I don't hear tree frogs in downtown San Jose, but there was a lot of frogs growing up where I lived because there were some creeks and.
Yeah, we have the Pacific Coast tree frog.
Okay.
And then for snakes, we have king snakes. We have a gopher snake. We also have the rattlesnake. And then we have.
And you take those and rehabilitate them.
Yes, we do.
Wow. And would you probably feed the mice?
Yeah.
So the
we feed them their natural diet.
So the baby mice I brought in because we had pulled some ivy, like right when I moved back in like 2002 from San Francisco, we'd pulled some ivy out, and then all of a sudden we were hearing this and those little baby mice. We brought them in, and I'm like, they probably just fed them to the snakes.
Oh no, we definitely keep our, the food separate from the patients.
From the patients. Well,
yes.
Yeah, I just figured it's the
any
circle
animal
of life.
any animal that people bring in will definitely
try to re-release interesting. And so again, so the re-release, do you try to release them in the area that people found them, or?
Yeah, with part of our permit through California Department of Fish and Wildlife, as well as U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, we have to release within a certain mile range. And so we generally release them within 3 to 5 miles where they're found. And some of the animals, like the coyotes, if they're found downtown or, somewhere in a residential area, obviously that's not an appropriate release location. So in those situations, we'll network with biologists and the state of California to find a different range for them.
So take us through the process. For example, I know the process of this because I talked to you guys, but we had, there was a skunk underneath my neighbor's porch, and it was coming out in the daytime, and it turned out it was I knew it was a young one, but it turned out it was teenage. You guys, the guy that came and trapped it, and I don't remember if it was injured or it was dehydrated, but you guys came out and trapped it and took it. But take us through the process of what happens if someone brings it or versus someone calls and said, can you come? Take us through the process of what you guys do.
So generally when somebody calls or inquires about an injured or orphaned wild animal, we'll take down the steps and ask them everything that's going on to determine if that animal is actually in need of rescue. So if it is determined that the animal needs to come in for care, we then will ask that person calling, the member of the public, if they're comfortable bringing it in, depending on the species.
So skunks, no
yes,
thanks.
Skunks, no thanks. And if not, so since we are so busy these days, we actually rely on local animal control to transport certain species to us in those situations. So if it was a young skunk or an injured skunk, then we would have you call your local animal control agency, who will then bring the animal to us.
And I can't remember, I think it was like a Saturday or Sunday, and I think that's why this guy actually that I got on the phone had handled them before, so he just came and took care of it.
Sometimes if you're lucky like that, we have awesome volunteers on the weekend every day, but there's certain volunteers that just
I can't remember, I think his name was Mike, but he'd been there a long time.
Yes, yeah. Michael Schmidt. He's one of our long-term volunteers, and he's on a Sunday, so that makes sense. And I believe I remember this one because he called and asked if it was okay for him to go out, and we couldn't get a hold of animal control or anybody, so he went out and got him.
Coming and eating in the day, and it was hiding like under this kind of, it was like a 1930s or 1920s house our neighbors have, and ours 1930s, and there's the creek in the backyard, so we think it got split up, and we have a dog that likes to chase things, so it was, kind of headbutting the fence, and we're like, okay, it's gonna get sprayed, and anyway, so he came out. Let's pull up the next slide, because I think the next one is actually
a
skunk. Yeah, and so I don't know if this is a full-grown skunk or what, but this was, again, it was a teenage one, and it was out in the day, which is not usual for them. So we can pull that down. Let's pull up another one too. I think there's another. Let's see, one more bird. I don't know. Do you know what kind of bird this is?
That is a cedar waxwing.
Oh, okay. It's beautiful.
They are gorgeous.
They're great.
They're around this time of year. They're you can see them in large groups, and they feed on berries.
Oh,
yes. They're gorgeous.
No berries in our yard right now, but so that was pretty amazing. Tell us about the programs. Let's pull that down. Tell us about your programs that you have too.
So we offer not only animal care, which is the main one, but we also have education outreach programs as well that are age specific, and there's a lot of information on our website, but our volunteer coordinator will go out into classrooms or even do Zoom trainings for anyone in kindergarten through high school, and sometimes we have other community locations that people want to go to, and we offer a wide range of different programs. So you can do species-specific programs, or just kind of learning animal adaptations, or just kind of getting to know the animals that we are around.
And colleges, do you
Colleges,
go out?
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know at different like Earth Day events and stuff, you guys are usually out at that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, we do a lot of the Earth Days, college days. We have a few career days coming up as well for a couple elementary schools and a middle school.
I'm going to pull up another slide, and then the next question is about the pandemic. So here's a bobcat. I love that. It's
Yes,
such
one
a
of my
beautiful
favorites.
creature. And then we'll pull up one more, which I think is a duck. I think it's a mallard.
Mallard,
we
yep.
see those all the time on Coyote Creek downtown, which is very surprising because it's so muddy. Let's pull it down. Tell us about the pandemic and how that affected you guys.
That was rough, definitely. Obviously, nobody saw the pandemic coming or anything like this situation. And because we rely so heavily on volunteers, it really, really hit us hard. And it was during the busy season. So it was in March when it first when it first came around. And we had to form a game plan within 24 hours. And what we had to do was just shut down our intern and volunteer program. And we only had 4 staff members working certain days during the height of the busy season. And even we never refused an animal. We never, closed our doors, because it's obviously we're there for a reason, no matter what's going on. And it was definitely difficult to get used to doing outside intake. So we closed our lobby as well, so no public members can come inside. And we did all the intakes outside and brought them in. And then slowly, I think it was went March through July with just staff.
And I think it was either June or it was sometime in that time that we found like a baby robin that a cat or something had gotten, and you guys took it. And the nice thing is I didn't expect it, but I got a card saying you released it.
Yes.
And you guys don't always do that because you don't have always the volunteers to do that or the staff. Especially if you're getting 7,000 animals a year, right? I don't know what the postage would be on all that. So, but yeah, that was really nice to know that it got released. And a little bit later on, there's another little creature that we found, and we'll see that picture.
Yeah.
So the pandemic, that was.
Yeah, and that was one of the changes we made as well. We used to do record calls, and so people can call and check in on their animal. And since we were so short-staffed, we just made the decision to say, if your animal's released, we'll send you a postcard, and thanks for bringing them in. And, as the months progressed, we were able to slowly bring back our volunteer program. We did lose a few people, just because it wasn't an easy situation, and certain people handle it differently. So we did lose quite a few volunteers, but they're with us in spirit. And then eventually, we just continued to push through.
People moved too.
People move, and a lot of people ended up, remote jobs. And so they ended up moving to where it's cheaper cost of living. So
yeah, hear that, right?
Yes,
Silicon
exactly.
Valley is an expensive place to be.
It sure is.
We're going to pull up one more slide, which is our community slide. And on that, we like to ask if there's something, how can the community help? Are you looking for more volunteers? What are your needs right now for?
So our needs at the WildLife Center, definitely more volunteers and internship support. And we're always looking for different areas of the facility to be taken care of, whether it's, if you're not wanting to work hands-on with wildlife, you can help with our education outreach team. We have a gardening team, a facilities team, but right now it's generally volunteer support.
Do you get a lot of volunteers from high schools too? Because I know there's now a requirement that they do some volunteering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so our only requirement is you have to be 16 years of age, but yeah, a lot of high school students will apply for the volunteer
I think it's
program.
the junior, senior year they have to do a certain amount of volunteering now, but it's like the law in schools or something. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
And what else? I know, do you guys do an annual fundraiser? I think we're going to get to events next. So what are your, how do you guys raise money for this? Do you do
We have a group of our development team who I just always say, go development. They're phenomenal group of ladies, and they work really, really hard on writing grants, and they also throw a yearly fundraiser that we generally do. And they just come up with different creative ways to engage the community and really share our stories and some of the animals that we get in. And also, they do a lot through our social media. So they'll do asks with some really fun stories and really engage the donors in our community that way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull up another. I think we have a couple more slides. Let's pull these guys up before we have to end. There's a turtle. Is that a tortoise or a turtle?
That is our native western pond turtle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the ones we see in the creeks?
Yeah. So we do have another species that you can see in the creek is the red-eared slider. They have just the red stripe.
They're just dark. They're like a black.
Yes.
I mean, maybe it's because the water's so muddy. I keep thinking when they're draining, you pull that down, I keep thinking when they're draining Coyote Creek, like what's going to happen? And are they just going to hibernate or?
Let's hope.
You know, because that's, I guess they do that. And
yes.
Let's pull the next one up, which is really a cute one. And I think it's the possum.
That's Mom Possum with all her babies.
Little babies.
Yeah.
Which they're kind of a pain, but they're so cute, you know.
and they're great for the environment. They help reduce Lyme disease because they eat ticks, so that's a plus.
Oh, that's good. We pull that down. Our white shepherd we had used to love to chase him, so we'd always have like possums playing possum in the yard. And it's like, okay, let's pick them up and put them in the front, you know, to make sure.
My large dog is afraid of them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's silly.
What's been the biggest wins and accolades for you guys? Is there one?
Honestly, I have to say, just being there for so long, we've been through a lot of growing pains, and I've seen a lot of shifts and changes in a positive way. And I believe I think the pandemic really helped bring everybody together and closer to our community. And ever since 2020, I've just seen such an increase in not only monetary donations, but people reaching out to see if we need produce donations and if they can make yogurt for possums. And it's just all these different creative things that people are doing to just stay involved with the organization.
You probably need blankets and things
like
that
towels
too. Towels
and t-shirts and pillowcases. So we do have a list on our website of just in-home donations that you can do.
I have a bunch of sheets to give you. So.
Oh, perfect. We can always take sheets, yes.
Yeah.
But it's just been so gratifying and satisfying to see just how far we've come from just a little tiny, you know, we had a closet at the Humane Society to evolving to, you know, we're on a quarter of an acre and caring for over 7,000 animals. It's just amazing.
It's a huge job.
Yeah.
Let's pull up the next slide too. I want to make sure we get to this because so there's the picture you sent me, and the picture on the right, not last summer, maybe the summer before, this gal was like, oh, there's a baby puppy, and it was like 90 degrees and it was crawling. Its eyes were closed. And I'm like, that's not a baby puppy, that's a raccoon. So, you know, we had something else to do. We changed our schedule and we brought it in to you guys. And I don't know what happened because we didn't get, so hopefully it didn't, you know, but let's pull that down.
I believe the side-by-side comparison was the same animal. So you can see him as a young one.
Yeah.
And
she's like, it's a puppy. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It was crawling with its eyes closed. They're still, so its mother had probably dropped it and got disturbed when she was moving them. We can really say, so we get a couple more. Let's bring this next one up. I think one more maybe. And this is the release.
That's one of the releases that we did last year. We received orphan great horned owls from Portola Valley.
Beautiful.
And we were able to take care of them when they were young nestlings, and then they grew up at our facility and eventually ready to go.
We used to see the white barn owls in the Coyote Creek near where we live at 18th between Williams and another street. Haven't seen them in a while, but you do hear them occasionally. Like it's like, oh, okay, they're back.
Yes.
And then we get the red-tailed hawks, and they usually nest every year in the eucalyptus trees, which aren't native, and you know that's another whole story.
But hey, the red-tails love them, so it's fine.
Yeah. So we only have a few minutes left, and I know we didn't get to like what your best technology is, you know, or is there other organizations you're partnering with? Any news you want to share? I know you guys are looking for an executive director. Or is that already filled now?
She just resigned, but the board is going to fill it.
They're looking.
For her.
They're looking. For, so if anybody's interested,
yeah,
they can check that out. Anything else you want to share? Is anything we didn't get to about the technology that's important to you, or?
I think we covered mostly everything, and I just, you know, we thank you for having us. And like I said, the main thing that we're really looking for right now is volunteers. We need help to feed all those baby squirrels.
And when's that annual fundraiser that you guys do?
We generally do it in the fall.
In the fall.
Yes.
Okay, so
and right now we are doing a little one for Valentine's Day. You can go to our social media. You can buy a package of wine for your loved one or yourself. You know, treat yourself. And it's actually pretty good wine. So we're doing that right now. And then our annual larger fundraiser is always in the fall.
Well, and then do you guys sell like logoed stuff too, hats and shirts and stuff?
We have
because
merchandise.
Your logo's so cute.
Yeah, it's great. One of our staff members designed it, and he's really creative.
So that can also be supportive, right?
Yes,
So people can go to the website, and can they come and visit you now too, or not yet?
We're still closed, but they're more. Our website has everything on it, and I believe there's still a little virtual tour on our website as well, and our merchandise link is there as well.
And it was, when we dropped off the robin and the raccoon, it was really easy. Someone met us outside. And, it's really easy if people, if they know how to do that, if they're not comfortable in handling wildlife, like you said, they can call you or the WildLife or the animal control.
Yeah, and we have a whole directory of different agencies. So no matter, what city you're located in, we can find support for you.
Good. And then the technology thing too, again, is there anything that you want to... Is it probably Zoom for you guys too, like everybody else right now, or is it the cell phone? Or?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I think Zoom saved us.
Okay.
Zoom definitely saved us during the busy season, especially because our permits to be a wildlife rehabber, you have to have 2 hours of continuing education. So we had to change all of our in-person class trainings to Zoom. So that was a huge thing for us.
I forgot to ask too, is there anything green and sustainable you're doing? Are you guys doing recycle or anything you want to share there too?
We are on now a database instead of, we still have to have some paper records for the medical aspect of things, but we're switching over to iPads and database.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I used to love my laptop, and then during the pandemic, it was like I was running out of memory, so I bought a desktop. First steps desktop I've had since the 90s, right? But I probably could. This is probably the most important, right? I couldn't look at the cell phone because I'm always talking. But
yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to the audience for joining us, and for sponsors that do sponsor us. We'll be probably doing our own fundraiser this year, as we'll be becoming a 501c3.
Oh, nice.
And that was always in the plan, and then we'll be also moving into other states with USA Tags and Tags USA, and Tags again is for technology, art, green, and sustainability. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Make this a great Tags week by conserving, reusing, and rethinking the way you choose to live here in Silicon Valley and beyond. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.